Yes, what's going on, guys? My name is Eddie Tranzcendent, and this is the Tranzcendent Outlook podcast, where our mission is to highlight and celebrate individuals, businesses, and organizations that are pushing boundaries, overcoming challenges, and creating meaningful impact in their communities and beyond. Today, I'm really excited because today's guest is somebody who was supposed to be the first guest. And it's crazy. The story is crazy. Everything happens for a reason, right? But what's happening tonight was supposed to happen, I think it was like May 1st or April 1st. So it's been a few months. Some hiccups along the way, but anybody who has a business or anybody who's doing something kind of for themselves or whatever knows that there's a lot of hiccups, a lot of kind of things that happen along the way, and that's what happened here, and that's what led to us starting getting this done at the middle of July as opposed to April. Nonetheless, I'm super excited for tonight's guest. Tonight's guest is George Vivo. George Vivo is we were talking about this beforehand. I am the worst at like memorizing que si nombre, que si this, que si that, whatever. But I know that he's the president of an amazing organization in Bridgeport, and that's the Bridgeport Police Hispanic Society. They've been around for a very long time. He hasn't. He's fairly young, and he's gonna tell us all about the organization and give us maybe a little background for those who don't know about it, with the hope that perhaps if you don't know about it, you can learn more about it, and or you can maybe join and see how you can help, right? For me, I feel, you heard the mission. I feel like anybody who's making moves, anybody who's doing things for the community, deserves to have a platform where we can highlight them, and that's what we want to do today, and that's what we want to do with George. So without further ado, George, what's going on, brother?
Good, man. Thank you for having me today. Here to represent the Bridgeport Police Hispanic Society, my members. We just celebrated our 42nd anniversary, so we've been around for 42 years.
That's crazy.
Bridgeport, yep.
How old are you?
Me, I'm 30 years old.
I'm 42, so I'm as old as this organization
got me
is.
by 10, man.
No, but what I'm saying is I'm as old as your organization is.
Oh, yeah.
That's kind of so 1984 is when it's
85.
85. Okay.
Yep.
Oh yeah, you're right. Because I'm gonna be 43.
Oh,
Thanks for letting me know that I'm actually older than the organization. So 43 years is crazy.
Yeah, 42 years. So, we basically highlight all the achievements, and it's in our core mission statement through unity, community, and cultural achievement.
Okay.
We were founded by Manny Cruz Caro, which is a retired Bridgeport police officer as well as Juan Quintana.
Okay.
So the two, were our founders of the organization, and we're very heavily rooted in the community for Bridgeport for our, Latino and Hispanic communities.
Okay.
We do several events in the area. We partner with other organizations that help out where need be, local nonprofits, government organizations, what have you, and it's just great to see everyone come together, for the common goal and common purpose, which is our community.
So no, that's great. Now before, I really want to dive deep into the organization, its history and, what we're doing now and what the future looks like for the organization. But before doing so, I want to learn a little bit about you, man. So tell me a little bit about yourself.
Man, lifelong Bridgeport resident. I come from a military and a police family. So, I've been, very heavy on the service before self throughout my whole life, even as a kid, My family's been very involved with the Hispanic Society as well as when I was a kid. So this is not something that's benign to my character or my family. So family's a big part. I say it redundantly, but family's a big part of who I am. It pushes me forward. It's my guiding light when I have those difficult days and what have you, as well as my faith, But one thing's for certain, lifelong Bridgeport, resident, always being there for other people and just having that aspect of community first,
Yeah.
So
so growing up in the police and kind of military family, how is that? Like how like do you feel like you have to, like growing up, did you feel like you had to maybe represent your family differently or you had to act differently because of that? Or did it not faze you as much when you were growing up?
It didn't faze me as much growing up. It was always something that I wanted to do because I always saw, my family as well as, my father, of course, who was, a Bridgeport police officer for over 35 years.
Oh, wow, okay.
I saw them, come through the door in their uniform. And it's just, that's something that me as well as my little sister, who's also a state trooper for Troop G, we wanted to aspire to be that. Even something as minuscule as playing with GI Joes or I don't know, stormtroopers or clone troopers from Star Wars, something as small as that. You wanted to be like with the stuff that you were playing with as a kid, or their cousins that had just come back from Iraq or Afghanistan, or even like I said before, your family members who were in law enforcement. They would come at the picnics or family get-togethers. Like, wow, who's that? Like, I want to be that when I grow up.
Yeah.
So I must have been like a police officer for like 5 Halloweens in a row.
Yeah, that's funny.
Yeah.
Now, at what point of your youth did you kind of like realize that your father was a police officer? And I only ask that because I'm pretty sure your dad's probably your hero, right?
Oh, 100%.
Right. And I'm pretty sure I'm my son and my daughter's hero as well.
Yep.
But I'm just a regular guy, right? So at what point? Because at what point does your hero turn into police officer? When do you remember when you realized that he was a police officer?
To be honest with you, Eddie, I really didn't have a distinguish of that, but I knew that, wow, like I said before, that was something that I wanted to be.
Yeah.
Like just like the shock and awe effect, like, oh, look at the uniform coming through the door. And then, around the time where I started getting that purpose, that want to be that, was right around 9/11,
Okay. And how old were you then?
Oh, man, I must have been like maybe 5 or 6 years old.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
I was going to St. Ambrose in Bridgeport.
Yeah.
When, the towers fell, unfortunately, we were underneath, me and my sister were underneath school desks.
Yeah.
Because, no one knew how to, and I remember it's so pitch perfect, but like ever since then, like my purpose and me wanting to serve has been a baseline for, the family aspect of seeing them in their uniform, as well as like that kind of push started, my want to serve in the military, as well as, be here in the community and do what I currently do for, the Bridgeport Police Department, which I'm very, happy to be part of and loyal for,
No, that's so interesting, man, because you said that and I'm thinking about where I was when the towers fell, and I was in high school. I was in Harding High School in the cafeteria at the moment when that whole thing was happening, and so that it kind of like puts things into perspective for me. Where I was and where you were, and
right up the street from each other,
and how so early on you already kind of had like an idea of what you wanted to do,
right?
Which is great, because I think that one of the things that a lot of young people run into these days is that they don't know what they want to do. They don't know where to go. Which is, there's nothing wrong with that, right? But I've always said that that those people like yourself who knew at an early age, you have a special type of blessing, because I think it's beautiful to know at an early age. I mean, I didn't really figure what I wanted to do until I was like 30-something years old.
Right.
You know what I mean? I tried a whole bunch of stuff. And so to have that blessing of knowing that early, I think it's a beautiful thing, because it kind of helps you to start to like kind of mold how you want to do things, right? En route to kind of like getting there.
Correct, yeah.
Did you disclose this to your parents? Like, hey, Papi, I want to be like you?
All the time.
And was your father like, yeah, or was he kind of like, you know what I mean?
I mean, he was definitely probably like rejoicing on the inside. He had the distinct honor. When I went through the academy and graduated in 2023, my father had the distinct honor to actually pin me on and bring his badge out of retirement.
That's awesome.
That was huge. To have being a second generation police officer and wearing my father's badge.
That's a thing?
That's the thing, yeah.
Oh,
so
shit.
like, passing the badge on, like it doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
However, it was a really big
crazy
moment in my life, especially for what my family had went through. I almost lost my father at a very young age, right around that time in the 90s when, the towers fell and what have you. And, I just remember, going from hospital to hospital to hospital on I-95, man.
Yeah.
Doctors didn't know what he had, but my father went down to like 140. He was a skeleton, man, and just walking into the room, and he wasn't holding down anything, so you smell like the peta, and then you see like him and with the IVs in the arms, like it was very vivid for me and my family.
Yeah.
And the Hispanic Society, Manny, Juan, Santiago, a lot of those guys were there for me as a kid.
Yeah.
My father, They were there to pick up and pay for families' bills. The church was there as well.
Yeah.
Which is like I said before, a big part of my life is my faith.
Yeah.
And during my kindergarten graduation, there was the whole city kind of came together on a street that I lived on, and we had M&F towing, AMR, the ambulance service. We had Bridgeport Fire, which is I believe is Ladder 11. That's right there off of Ocean View Terrace. And we had, members from the Bridgeport Police Department as well as the state troopers come with their canine unit.
Okay.
All to my dead end street. And my father's partner at the time walked up to my mom's car, coming home from kindergarten, and gave me a Hot Wheels toy car and was like, since your father couldn't be here for you, we're here for you. And that was kind of like my purpose. Yeah. Like for everything that I do, whether it was the military, whether it was acting when I was acting in San Antonio or what have you, everything that I do is to basically put Bridgeport on a pedestal and show people, whether they be my age or younger or older, that like, hey, there's hope out here. There's a different side to the city that people are kind of trapped in. It's like, hey, like, how do I get this exposure? How do I bloom where I'm planted? And that answers a lot of it when they see a young guy doing this, that, and the third, and kind of putting that on a higher level and being like, hey, this is where I come from. I'm proud of it. This is what built me. And that's like my why factor, man.
No, I love that. I love that, man, because part of the reason why I started the podcast in 2017 and 2018 was for that, man. I wanted to have something where I can highlight, the good things that are happening, the good people that are here, because I feel like Bridgeport, and we could probably say this about almost any place in the U.S. Especially any place that gets a lot of bad rep.
Correct.
I'm sure that there's a lot of good things happening and a lot of good people, but unfortunately, the bad news is what really sells, right?
That's right.
And that's what gets pushed. And that's what a lot of people see from the outside is kind of the bad,
Yep.
And I wanted to be able to platform people and to show that, man, there really is a lot of good people here and a lot of good things happening, and we need to spend a little time and talking about them and talking to them. And my hope was that, man, if I could start putting out some clips and some videos, man, we could start to change the algorithm a little bit, right? And we can see some good people.
Yeah.
And your story is the type of story that I want to be able to share, stories, because I think too often, again, we talk about the negative things that people do, whatever.
Right.
But here's a young man, who grew up in a household where obviously it's not the same household as many of us, may have grown up in,
Right.
And you were able to kind of grow up in a household, and you had a mission from 5 years old, and you were able to accomplish it, while also staying true to yourself, right? Because I think that sometimes, it could be tough to see your parents doing a particular thing and to kind of like set your vision on doing that same thing. I think that could be tough. And seeing how you were able to do it and you're still doing it now, I think is a beautiful thing.
Right.
And that kind of leads me to my next question. Was there pressure? Do you feel any pressure to kind of like, follow in your dad's footsteps?
I don't think it was more so pressure. I think it all came naturally.
Okay.
There was the right time and the right place.
Yeah.
I had moved back to Bridgeport more recently in 2020 from San Antonio, Texas, and half of my heart's out there in Texas still. I left there. I left Bridgeport, out there for the military, and that's basically where I became a man. I became 21 years old out there.
Got it.
What have you. My best friend next to me, like I was 21. My best friend next to me was like in his 40s. So I mean, it's part of the military.
Yeah,
you can atone to that as well. But it matured me and it grew me professionally. So I came back and everything kind of just happened for a reason. And I was like, hey, like, I'm looking for what's out there. We're looking for how I can expand my military reputation, and it just lined up with the Bridgeport Police Department.
Yeah.
Obviously, I took other tests as far as like fire or where have you for other departments, but like I said before, Bridgeport stuck out the most because of the legacy value and the value it had to both myself and my family. So,
so let's talk a little bit about that, because I think that and by the way, if you're waiting to talk about the Hispanic Society, we'll get there in a second. But I really want to dig into this because I left Bridgeport, I left Connecticut when I joined the Army in 2003, and I went to South Carolina for a little while, I went to Virginia for a little while, and I lived in Louisiana for a couple of years. I did a trip overseas, whatever. But it's not about me; it's about you. But why I bring this up is because while I was out there, it's almost like I started to really appreciate Bridgeport more when I wasn't here.
Right.
Like when I was gone, I started to think about home and saying, oh man, like I miss home. Like, you know what I mean? And then, I was fortunate and unfortunate at the same time to be, with the military, sent to some places that weren't really great,
Right.
And looking around and kind of thinking to myself, man, this is pretty bad. And when I compare it to home, like home is beautiful. Like, you know what I mean? Like it was the type of thing, where I don't want to say that where I wasn't beautiful, because I'm sure at some point it had its own beauty. But when I thought about it, I was like, man, like home is beautiful too. You know, we just need to like to bring that out of it. You know what I mean?
Take care of it more. You know.
And so I was like, I had this thought of, I want to go back home and I want to figure it out. I want to figure out, how can I help? How can I be of a help? How can I, you know, instead of leaving the town and becoming great somewhere else, why can't I just come back home and be great here?
Correct.
You know what I mean?
Yep.
And it sounds like that's kind of the mentality you had a little bit.
100%.
So where in Texas were you?
So I was in San Antonio.
Okay. And so at any point in Texas, did you have like a aha moment of like, man, I kind of miss home? Like, you know what I mean? Like,
yeah, I definitely had those moments. I mean, needless to say, San Antonio was beautiful inside and out, you know, and I don't take that away from the city. I still have a lot of friends out there who still reach out, you know, a lot of mentors out there, a lot of people that actually pour into the Hispanic Society as well here and there.
Okay.
So, you know, it's really awesome to have that support, even from out there, you know. But, you know, there were times when I had to sit at the side of my bed and I'm like, wow, you know, I miss my parents, I miss my sister, I miss my family. You know, I miss those times where you could, you know, go walk by Seaside Park, you know, or St. Mary's by the Sea, just to be around water, you know, instead of going to like a water park, you know. But you know, there was those little times where it was like, hey, like I miss, you know, eating at the Flamboyant restaurant, or I miss eating at Captain's Pizza and getting a big Greek style pizza, you know, like those are the little things that you miss out on, and home will always be home. You know, whether, you know, it's on the up or on the down or whatever it may be enduring. But, you know, I think the biggest thing that kind of was disseminating in my head from being homesick was my family.
Yeah.
You know?
And so how long were you in Texas for?
So I was in Texas for about, give or take, 9 years.
Oh, wow. You were there for a minute. Oh,
so, you know, I had gotten out of the service and then I ended up staying there
for
an extra
year. Oh, wow. Okay.
So I had the distinct honor and privilege to work at a Brasserie de Monchouchou.
Okay.
So it's a French covered style 5-star restaurant in the heart of the Pearl.
Okay.
I got to assist, you know, be a server, assistant server, and I got to serve Dolly Parton, Harry Styles, big names like that.
Okay.
Yeah. So, you know, they'd bring down the curtain for half of the restaurant and they'd have their own kind of section. So it was pretty cool. And then you had to learn about like mince and place, things of that nature. And then, you know, on the off season, you know, when things were slow, I also had another job at Six Flags in San Antonio, Texas.
Okay.
So I was doing scare acting there, and I became a staple for that park. And they would
wow.
put like makeup on you, pop the contacts in, you would walk a certain way if you were a zombie or a hillbilly, like wrong turn on the left. So just acting the part, you know. So it was just always like something that was like, you know, that would be cool if I were able to do that, have the opportunity to do that, you know. And it was just one of those things where it's like, you know, I'm not tied down to anything, so let's give it a try.
So you look for these things.
Yep.
Oh wow. Okay.
So I looked for them, and it kind of, like I said before, it fell on my lap, and it was like, you know, an experience. You know, a bucket list item.
Yeah.
So, you know,
that's awesome, man.
Yeah.
And so after these 8-9 years, you came back home.
I came back home. Yeah. So family called. You know, when family calls, you know, health kind of, you know, fell off a little bit. Got you know, and my grandfather, he fell really ill, you know, with Alzheimer's dementia, and my uncle had, you know, been going through dialysis, grandmother through Crohn's and other issues with my immediate family, and you know, I took a step back, looked at the totality of everything from you know, my lens, and I'm like, you know what? It would be more noble to go back and help out my family than to be here and enjoy myself, because my family really needs me, and they've given me everything I have. Yeah. So that was what was in back of my head, and I'm like, you know what, I think it's time. Okay. You know, just to be back home. And sure enough, is when I came back home, you know, the police department and the job opportunity fell on my lap, and here we are. So that's awesome. Yeah, that's awesome.
All right, so fast forward, you know, you joined the police department here in Bridgeport.
Yep.
How has it been in terms of, like, you know, obviously, you know, there's ups and downs, ebbs and flows, you know, just like any other I guess you could say job, right?
Right.
But particularly being a police officer, I'm pretty sure that is you know, it's one of those things where every day in the office is not the same. You know what I mean?
Yeah, every day is different.
But overall, has it been what you thought it was going to be?
It's been everything I thought it was going to be and more. Okay. And more in a positive light. Yeah. Meaning, like, you know, I get to interact with people who I grew up with or cross paths with at some point in time. Yeah. Who see me since I was a kid, or even, you know, protect areas at night that, you know, like, hey, there's X amount of break-ins or X amount of this. You know, you're more vigilant in those areas because you're from here.
Yeah.
You know, so it's
Yeah.
like you have a more sense of pride with the calls that you take because you're not only, you know, a resident, but you grew up and you were raised here.
Yeah.
So you have like more sense of kind of like a purpose to kind of serve the community.
Yeah.
And every interaction, man, it goes a long ways, you know, treating people like people, going by the golden rule. And, you know, that's kind of like what I align my my you know, everyday work in the field as a Bridgeport police officer as, you know.
No, I love that. I love that because I at some point in my journey, I wanted to be a police officer. And I was like, you know what? And I, you know, I took tests in different cities and towns and stuff.
Right.
But I was like, man, like this, like Stratford, like, you know, Waterbury, you know, whatever, New Haven. But I was like, but I really want Bridgeport. Like, you know what I mean? Like, I was like, I want to be home. I want to be able, you know, because I feel like it'll be so much different if it's at home. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, it never happened. The opportunity was there, but I didn't take it. But I had the same mindset that you have in terms of like, you know, there's a pride behind it. You know, this is home. You know what I mean? So you know, the whole serve and protect is like it's like literal. Like I want to serve and protect, you know, my home.
Everyone remembers your name too. Like, you know, the good that you do in the street, everyone will remember you by the good that you did or how you helped out that person in an, you know, extraordinary way.
Yeah.
Or on the other side of the cards, you know, people will remember your name for, you know, doing a lackadaisical job. But you are what you make of it, you know, and the career field is very lucrative. It is very given and it is very taking. But at the end of the day, it's how you come about and how you treat people out there.
No, listen.
Because when you're in the time of need and you go, you know, to a call where you, hey, I got to shut down this building or something, and you need help, you'll be surprised who steps up to help you when there's not other officers around. Yeah. So the neighborhood, the communities, they step out sometimes and they're like, hey, that's not right. We're you know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's very giving, man. Right.
Do you feel like the gap between high school and you coming back home and becoming a Bridgeport police officer, do you feel like that gap in some way, shape, or form helped you become the man that you were, you know, to be a police officer? You know, like, do you feel like that helped you?
I believe so.
Yeah.
More so as far as structure and professionalism, because that gap, from what we discussed earlier, you know, that gap was the military.
Yeah.
So, you know, that gap kind of set the precedence for like, you know, this is real, you know?
Yeah.
So it, not only that, but, you know, it taught me core values. It taught me how to speak to people in a professional light, taught me how to carry myself, body language, posture, what have you, eye contact. Yeah. Just the little things, you know what I mean? How to treat people. That was pretty big as well.
Yeah.
But, you know, that gap was everything to me, and it's still a lot to me today. And, you know, I use it, you know, every day in the field. So.
No, of course. And I only ask because, you know, I think most of the time now, you know, kids are graduating high school, they have no idea what they're going to do next. You know, they don't know what's going to happen next, and that can be very scary, man. Depending on what the financial status of your family is, you know, and what's going on, you know, you're kind of like, crap, I don't know what to do. You know, do I jump into something? Do I, you know, whatever? And a lot of it is kind of like, you know, just going through your journey and just taking what's given to you and just learning from it until you figure out what the thing's going to be, you know? Correct. And I think for you, you know, even though at an early age, you kind of, you know, knew what you wanted to do, you know, this kind of break, I guess you could say, between high school and becoming a police officer was great because you were able to learn things, you know, that you're using now in your profession and that you're going to take with you for the rest of your life, you know? And perhaps, I mean, I don't know. I know, like, for me, when I joined the military, I didn't know that I needed that. You know what I mean? Because you think, you know it all. I got this, you know, whatever. I got this, you know, whatever. Right. And then you go through that, you know, oh man, I really needed that time. I needed that discipline. I needed to learn those core values that help me, you know, live my life today, you know?
Definitely.
And so I asked that question because I want, you know, if anybody is watching or listening to this, you know, today, tomorrow, 10 years from now, and you're in a predicament where you're like, man, I don't know what to do. I think I want to be a cop. I think like if you're lost or if you feel lost, like, it's okay. Like you're gonna be fine.
Yeah.
You're gonna be fine. You're about to go into life, into the real world, and you're gonna learn some things that are gonna help you. And once it's time for you to jump into whatever you're gonna jump into, you'll be ready for it. You know.
That's right.
So I think that's great. And also I want to kind of go back to the whole thing with the badge, because I'm still like I'm talking to you, but that thing is still in my mind because that's crazy. So your badge is your dad's badge?
My badge number
is my
father. Same number, everything.
Crazy. Yep. Yeah, I'm still thinking about that.
It's been in service now for 35 plus years.
That's awesome.
Yeah, he
man.
took it out of retirement, and you know, I wear it with you know, distinct honor, and it's a privilege, to say the least. You know? But to the extent of that, my uncle was a Bridgeport police officer as well.
Okay.
My aunt was a Bridgeport police officer as well.
His wife or?
Yep, his wife.
Oh wow. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
And my little sister, she's a state trooper at Troop G.
Okay.
And then my second cousin, Debbie Gutierrez, she was the first ever Latina state trooper in the state of Connecticut.
Really?
Yep. So,
Okay.
Yeah. So it's pretty big. The whole family history of being in law enforcement and service before self has always been a core pillar in my life.
That's awesome.
And Bridgeport's always been there for me in ways I couldn't even write on a piece of paper.
Yeah.
But everything I do leading up to today is to put our city on the map, man.
Of course. Oh, definitely.
More specifically to tell the younger guys and girls out there who are lost, like you were, dabbling in earlier, to tell them like, hey, like there's other options out there. There's other things to do in your life. There's other, opportunities, got to keep the faith strong and open, having an open mind,
Yeah.
So,
No, definitely.
Yeah.
So you're in the police department. How long after you joined the police department did you start to kind of look at and think about the Hispanic Society?
Almost immediately.
Okay.
So I was approached about it in the academy.
Oh, someone approached you.
Yep. And
okay.
I had already had all, like, because the Hispanic Society was there for when my father was on his deathbed.
Got it.
So this organization, the Bridgeport Police Department, the city, to say the least, was there for me.
Okay.
So that's why everything I do, whether it be like with whatever job or whatever like award or what have you, I always tell people, hey, I'm a product of the city of Bridgeport.
Yes.
And I wear that with a sense of pride. But to answer your question about the Hispanic Society, it's been engraved in me since I was a child.
Got it.
It's probably one of the best things I've ever did and ever taken charge of. I'm surrounded by an amazing group that's with me. My vice president, Roxana Edwards, my treasurer, Wilberto Rivera Colon,
okay.
My secretary, Tamara Garcia, and the recording secretary, who's also the first ever emergency dispatch communicator, is David Arroyo Jr. So
okay.
really good group of people that help me out with my daily duties and what I have to do. They're the faces and the names behind what everyone sees on Instagram or Facebook or even at the events helping out, man.
Yeah.
So just like my heart is so deeply vested in the Hispanic Society. We're like I said before, going on 42 years strong.
Okay.
We're the last standing fully active Hispanic Society in the state of Connecticut.
Wow.
So
okay.
it's a pretty big mantle and it's a pretty big responsibility. Mm-hmm. But we represent all the Hispanic and Latino police officers in the Bridgeport Police Department, as well as our communities, and everything is just to give our people of ethnic background a voice, you know. So
now going back to 1985, when the organization was first started.
Correct.
What was kind of the idea behind starting this organization?
Definitely. So the idea was first started by Manny Cruz-Caro and Juan Quintanilla, two since then retired Bridgeport police officers. The idea was to give the Latinos and Hispanics a voice. Okay. And we needed representation in the police department.
Got it.
At the time, there wasn't a lot of Hispanic and Latino officers. And I believe there was something called the Remedy Act back in the 70s, where a lot of minority officers were getting placed in different part of the cities that were rougher than others. Back when they had Jersey barriers up and what have you. So it was just to give them a voice and kind of give them representation to the point where they could make appointments for things like lieutenant or captain or sergeant of that nature, instead of being like in patrol. And there's nothing wrong with patrol, because it's the heartbeat of the Bridgeport Police Department. A lot of solid, good work is being done by a lot of my brothers and sisters in uniform. Yeah. But to level up for career progression, that was a big thing that a lot of officers were seeking. You know, and then the representation obviously is key. Okay. So
and so 42 years strong of the organization.
That's right.
Your dad joined the organization at some point?
Yep, he joined when he first started up, around that time. Yeah. So, he started off as a treasurer, though, for many years. Yeah. So my father, he was a treasurer for the organization. My uncle was also a member. My aunt, basically my whole family, they were inside, the organization at one point in time with their career.
Okay.
So, it's awesome to see how the how it kind of duplicates,
Yeah,
know.
of course.
So,
of course.
yeah.
And how was that? How was that conversation? If it was a conversation, or when you said, hey, puppy, or whatever you call your dad, hey, I'm gonna be, I'm gonna join the organization. Like, you know what I mean? How was that conversation?
Yeah, I mean, it was he was ecstatic, to be honest with you. Yeah, because like I said, the Hispanic Society helped out my family in ways I could never repay it. You know, so it's like when the opportunity fell on my lap with, hey, do you want to be the president and stuff of that nature, or hey, do you want to take on this mantle for the X position in the organization? I reluctantly said, let's do it. Yeah, you know what I mean? And then a lot of ideas that I have that I bring to the table, which is not only, for the community, but also like in ways that we could grow it. Yeah. That all comes from the military. I'm very thankful for my friends who are business owners and what have you in downtown San Antonio area, like places like Bucan Rodeo and, Luna Rosa Restaurant. Places like that, you got friends that come here too, and they're like, hey, we love what you're doing. Yeah. So I ended up getting, Chief Master Sergeant Ramon Colon Lopez, SEAC. So he's a retired Air Force pararescue man, and he's the secretary to enlisted chief of staff. Let's hope I didn't murder that, but number 4. So, he was like basically the advisor to Trump and Biden and what have you. And he just came out with his book, Carnivore Leadership. Okay. And we had the amazing opportunity to have a Bridgeport native who's also Puerto Riqueño to go speak to the kids at Bridgeport Military Academy. Okay. So that was pretty big, and giving the kids in that aspect, hey, like, this is someone who's from our neck of the woods. Yes. And look at all the great that he's done. He's built an amazing military career. Yes. But this goes back to my point is you treat people like people, and you do good work, and everything else follows.
Yes. No, definitely. So, I agree with that 100%. And now in terms of the organization, I've seen maybe for the past, maybe year, 2 years, like a lot going on with the organization in terms of like different events, right?
Definitely.
For some time, maybe I saw some things here and there, maybe like a gala. I always thought like a gala and whatnot, And so talk to me a little bit about what the year looks like for your organization.
Yeah, so we have a lot going on.
Yeah.
So, whether it's not like flag raisings or, community like toy drives or even like, helping out at the soup kitchens, a lot of things that we got going on that's more specific would be things like our car show, the Wheels and Shields car show. Okay. So this is something that we revived, I want to say about a year ago. This is the car show that used to be hosted, that was brought to light by retired Officer Peter Camesa and retired Officer, Mercado. Yes. So both of them basically made the car show downtown by McLeod Green. Okay. And for quite some time, kind of like dissipated. And as a kid, I would always go to those car shows, and I'm like, wow, like this is awesome, man. Yeah. And it was like right in the heart of downtown. Yeah. So I was like, let me see what we could do to expand this and bring it back to life. So I became friends with the people that operate Foolproof Brewery, and they've been amazing to my organization since day one, since when they opened. Yeah. And they were on the up and up. They're just celebrating their 2nd year on the east side of Bridgeport as being an establishment. So I mean, if anybody is in for good brews, go to Foolproof Brewery. They mix car culture with the bar and the restaurant culture. Okay. And they've been the host for our award banquet, which is what we have in the winter time. Okay. And then as well as the Wheels and Shields car show. Yeah. So we look for local artisans to set up their table free of charge. Yeah. In the courtyard area, and it's about $20 to bring your hooked up car into the car show. And we have the fleet guys from the garage, Brian, Harry, and his crew. They volunteer their time to be the judges for the event. So everyone's involved, and it's just amazing seeing, all hands on deck.
How many categories do you guys have? Do you know?
Man, I think we had like 13 categories
really? Okay.
last year. Yeah, and I do want to give a really big shout out to Willie Izagatti.
Yeah.
He comes all the way down from New York, man. And that guy, he has a Nostalgic Grains Laser LLC.
Yeah.
He does all of our awards, man. And
really?
He always hits the nail on the head every single time. I couldn't be humble enough for that guy, man.
Yeah. And aside from the car show, any other events that you guys do throughout the year?
So like I stated before, we have the awards banquet, and then we also have the Three Kings Day reenactment. So this is something that's dating back to like 1985 from when the establishment first came about. We give out toys to less fortunate and needy kids, but our members and event goers at the gala, it's been customary to bring an unwrapped or gently used gift at those ceremonies, and then in turn, we give those items back to the community. For kids who can't afford a gift during the Christmas season. So
and how do you guys how do you, in terms of help and make the kids? I mean, I've been involved with plenty of nonprofit organizations, right?
Right.
And putting these events together is not easy.
A lot of work.
If you attend an event, you see how beautiful it is, and you see how great it is, but you have no idea the weeks and months that went into that particular event. And the hours, right? The manpower that went into it, and woman power, right? That goes into it.
And woman power. Yep.
And so for you guys, do you have like a I mean, I know you have an executive board,
right?
But do you have do you have members as well?
Yeah, we have. I mean, I couldn't be any more humble. My family's been helping me out a lot as well. Extended family, friends of my family.
Yep.
That goes in the same detail as our members and their family members. Like this, the whole aspect of the Hispanic Society was formed for our officers and not only the community but the family as well.
Okay.
So like it's all hands on deck whenever we have an event. Members, their friends always pop up, or family members of their friends. It just becomes one big thing. So it's a beautiful thing to look at from afar. But whenever we have our events, for certain, we have everyone pitching in.
Yeah.
Even if it's like, sitting at the table to count money for tickets or do a 50-50 raffle, or, making sure hot dogs and hamburgers are made for the Puerto Rican Day Parade that we have coming up. Shout out to Milta Feliciano. I know she's on the books, right?
Yes.
So, they do an amazing job at that, and, like for all of our events that we hold, it's a very cohesive, part of our organization when it comes down to family and all the work that gets put into it.
And are you guys? I'm gonna ask this question only because obviously and the heart of it all, you guys, it is a police department, and you guys are police officers and whatnot. Are you open to somebody says, hey, I just want to volunteer, like, you know what I mean? Are you open to that?
We always accept anyone that if their heart's in the right place, and we always accept volunteers, people that are in the community. There's people that volunteer in ways that don't involve like, hey, like let me help out with this or whatever physically. There's ways that people volunteer, like, hey, I'll volunteer on my own end, passing out flyers for something, or
of course,
hey, I would like to make a donation for this, and that helps out a lot too. Helps out our nonprofit, helps us continue our mission to the community. And it helps us grow. So.
And speaking of your mission, what's the mission going forward? What do you have? What do you have what are you looking forward to in the future?
Man, we're actually looking forward to growing. There's an idea on the table right now that we're looking at, kind of branching out into other police departments that have other Hispanic and Latino officers, but don't have that representation. And that's through something we brought up as an e-board called the Sergeant of Arms position. So there'd be like a Sergeant of Arms position for Milford, Stratford, Fairfield, and one person would represent the group that would like to be members for the Hispanic Society. We also integrated this year a board of trustees. So our board of trustees, consists of retired officer Juan Santiago. The daughter of one of our founders, Nicole Cotto. Right. Jessica Gonzalez, her father was also a Hispanic Society member. And then, of course, Madeline Zuninga. So, everyone plays a crucial role in the organization, and everyone helps out where need be.
Yes.
But we are growing. We are looking for more people within the police department to join. Like I said it before, it's a good thing for cultural representation. If people are lost and they're like, hey, like I need my group, I need my niche. Like this is what this is about. Whether it be if your thing is community, or if your thing is career progression, or if your thing is just like, hey, like I want to be part of something. That's good-hearted. Then this is what we're about. No,
that's awesome. Yeah. And I love the idea of kind of like not allowing, but reaching out to other departments or whatnot.
Yep.
Because I'm sure they're excited about it too.
No,
of course. No, of course. Yeah. No, I love that a lot, man. Especially because you mentioned earlier that you guys are longest lasting, or not longest lasting, but you guys have been standing for a long time.
We're the last ones in the state of Connecticut as far as Hispanic societies go.
And so that's amazing. What about you, man? Like it seems like I mean, I don't know you personally, right? I mean, I know you from here. We talked here and there, right? Not that I'm not opposed to knowing you personally, right? I would love to build something, right? But we could talk about that later. But I do wonder, man, like it seems like, other things that you thought about and that you have some kind of passion for, you've been able to kind of like get to and kind of accomplish, right?
That's right.
What else is there? Is there anything still in your heart that maybe you kind of thinking about? You know what I mean? Like
that is a stretch. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
But at the end of the day, you keep it rolling, man. You take one thing at a time. And my grandfather always used to tell me, he's like, take it going easy.
Yeah.
So it's like really big.
Yeah.
In the culture. But just one thing at a time.
Yeah.
One thing at a time, and every day is a different day, and you try and leave something better than what you found it.
Yes,
and that's it.
No, definitely. Do you guys have anything coming up soon, or?
Yeah, so we got the Wheels and Shields car show, like I said before, September the 5th, Labor Day weekend.
That's right around the corner.
That's right.
Yeah, think about it. Yeah,
we're gonna do a pig roast this year, which is pretty cool.
Okay, let's go. Let's go.
Some lechon. Get a slice of panit.
Yeah.
Provided by Foolproof Brewery. We're gonna have DJ Negrito on the ones and twos.
Okay.
Playing really good music. He was also the DJ for our Christmas banquet. He did a phenomenal job at Foolproof Brewery as well. It's just a lot of community events coming up. And just if anyone's new to figuring out what the Bridgeport Police Hispanic Society is, the biggest thing I tell them is, hey, look at the social media accounts, the Facebook, the Instagram, and that keeps everyone spun up on local events that we host, events that we help out in, events that we'll be at with like a table or what have you. So that's always, the gauge for people that want to get involved, get active, and want to know about what we are out of curiosity.
Is there a website or no?
No website yet, just the social media. So we have, the Facebook account and the Instagram account. So that's pretty huge, and it'll pop up with Bridgeport Police Hispanic Society.
Yeah, if you're watching or listening, just go down to the description. I'm gonna put all the information on there. All the links to the different social media accounts will be down in the description. You'll be able to go on there and follow the Hispanic Society and kind of and stay up to date with what's going on over there. That's amazing, man. It's great. It's so great to sit here and to listen to your story and to really because I think it's not often that you're able to kind of meet someone who has these aspirations and has been able to kind of reach them or whatever. And I think it's beautiful because not only do I get to see you, and kind of get to hear your story, but there's a feeling in the room right now because I can feel your excitement for what you're doing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're like when you're talking to me, I can feel your energy and how excited you are to not only share the things that you're doing, but to also express how excited you are about the things that you're doing.
Definitely, yeah.
And I think it's a beautiful thing. I think it's a beautiful thing when you're able to wake up every day and you're able to do the things that you love to do. Right?
Correct.
I think often we wake up and we may be upset or discouraged about things that are happening in our lives, and I think that happens to everybody. But I think, that being able to wake up and love the things that you do, I think makes a huge difference.
110%.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And so I think that you're super blessed with this stuff, man.
Yeah, man. Blessing is, let me tell you, man, I say it all the time, man. I'm just at a loss of words, man.
Yeah.
Just the way things played out where I am now.
Yeah.
Very humble for the opportunities that I currently carry and the opportunities that have fallen on my lap.
Definitely.
So
And how's your relationship with your sister?
It's back and forth, man. But it's more so, because she's a state trooper.
Yeah, that's why
I'm a local, police officer. So at the end of the day, she is my boss. But But at the end of the day, we're like the meat and potatoes of the family. Whenever she needs something, I'm there for her, and whenever she needs some, or vice versa, we're there for each other.
Yeah.
So whether it be volunteering at events or even just personal stuff, man, that my sister's my better half. So,
Yeah. No, I love that, man. I love that. Yep. How has her experience been with the as far as how has her experience been?
No, it's been amazing. I mean, during her academy, she saved one of her roommates' lives, and
okay.
She was all over, the very commendable and stuff like that, along with her other roommates at that time while they were in the academy.
Yeah.
So she's been a strong voice at Troop G. A lot of really hardworking troopers out there, and she says it all the time. She's very happy, and she's very glad that she's surrounded by her cohesive unit there. So
yes. That's beautiful.
Yeah.
Listen, man, I think this has been a great conversation. I think I've learned a lot about the organization. I think it's beautiful, and I love listening to your story. I think your story. I mean, even though it's nowhere near done, I think just the 30. 2 years of it that you talked about already.
Yeah.
I think it's a beautiful thing. When you think about young people coming up and making decisions, right? Mm-hmm. and on a daily basis, right?
Right.
And just looking at the different options that they're faced with on a daily basis, and what they're gonna do, go left, go right. When you think about that, what would you say, would be kind of like some words of wisdom that you can share with them, in terms of how to look at life when you're coming up, right? Because, and I asked that because I feel like, I think that there was a lot of decisions that you had to make in your life coming up, that led you to where you are now. But that you may look back and say, man, thank God at that point I went right. And at that point I stopped talking to that person. You know what I mean? What are some words of wisdom that you can share in terms of life and just making those decisions that help you become the person who you end up becoming later on?
So 2 really big quotes that kind of guided me through my life leading up until now was, never say never.
Okay.
Right?
Okay.
And leave something better than what you found it.
Got it.
Yeah. That's the best advice I could give to anyone my age, just kind of lost, if you got something that you're not too sure about, be the best at that trait.
Yeah.
Be the best at what you do. Because I guarantee you someone on the outside looking in, they're like, wow, let's hire him or her for this.
Yeah.
Or, hey, let's give them this opportunity because they're really good at what they do.
Yeah.
And then you never say never. You put your mind to anything, anything's achievable.
Yes. Yes.
So.
No, I love that, man. I love that. I think that that as you come up, as you start to work, as you start to kind of get into the real world,
right.
I think it's important for you to look at things and say, you know what, let me become the best at this.
That's
even
right.
It doesn't mean that this is going to be your career. It just means that you're going to just be really good at it, and folks will be able to see that. They'll be able to see that you have the ability to be great at whatever it is that you do.
That's
that
right.
You have the ability to commit to something and remain committed to get that particular job done. And that's going to help kind of train you for when you do get to where you're supposed to be and become the best there. So I really like that.
Add too, Eddie, a journey is a journey. You're gonna have your pitfalls. You're gonna have your rain period, and you're gonna have when you're at the top of the mountain screaming down low. But the biggest thing is to always continue in the back of your head is to keep going.
Yes.
So a lot of people give up, and there's a picture floating around the internet where it shows two guys mining with the pickaxe, right?
Yeah.
One guy gives up, but he's there's a thin layer of rock right there where there's a big diamond, and the other guy keeps on, hitting the soil, and he's reaching the diamond because he didn't give up, and the other guy's turning back around.
Yes.
So that kind of stuck too,
No, I love that. I love that.
So,
we've made it to a point in a podcast that I love, man, because I love to I have a couple of questions that I ask all my guests, kind of random questions, but it's kind of cool because it kind of helps to kind of, normalize, people a little bit, for folks that are watching, right? I think sometimes you may watch somebody, oh, he's a police officer, or I can't do that, oh, he's too, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But when we talk about these things, it tends to normalize, the person a little bit.
Right.
And so the first question is, what's your favorite dish?
Oof. My favorite dish, man.
If it has to be 2, we'll take 2. We'll take 2 if it has to be 2.
It is 2. It is 2. Cool. My favorite dish, man.
And there's a follow-up question, too.
Okay.
Yeah.
Gotcha. I got to choose it wise, man.
Okay, yeah.
But definitely from the Spanish side of my heritage, I love to eat a really good paella. And that's the seafood with the rice, everything included. aside from that, that's a very wholesome meal.
Yes.
On my Puerto Rican side, I really love arroz con habichuelas.
Yes.
Con alcapurria.
Yes.
Right, and then some plátanos maduros on the side.
There
man.
you go. There you go.
Maybe a little bit of pernil or like chuleta. Either or is fine.
Yeah.
But oh man.
Well, I'm gonna the paella. I'm gonna shelf that real quick and I'll put it to the side. And I want to talk about the rice and the beans and because I'm gonna put you on the spot real quick.
Okay.
I'm gonna put you on the spot. What's the best place to get it?
Oof. My favorite in Bridgeport. We're gonna say in Bridgeport.
Okay, that's in Bridgeport, yeah.
But my favorite place is El Coquí, man.
Oh yeah, Coquito?
Hands down, a staple in our neighborhood, man. A staple on the east side.
Yes.
A staple in the Boricua community.
Yes. Yes.
I'm very happy to be a recurring customer there for those guys. Man.
No, most definitely.
Yeah.
Definitely, man. Oh yeah. That's
used to be El Flamboyant, but they're not around anymore. But
this is true. Yeah, this is true. Yep. Yes.
So
I love that, man. I was going to Coquito since it was next door. Before
a lot smaller. Though.
Yeah, before they got fancy.
Yep.
The second question, last question is, what's your favorite song at the moment? What's on repeat right now?
Ooh, on repeat, man.
Right now,
I definitely love Bad Bunny, man.
Bad Bunny right now.
Bad Bunny's my.
Is there a song that comes to mind?
Ah, man.
You can sing it. You want to sing? You can sing it.
I gotta get a voice, man. I gotta get a voice, pero. Oh man, I just all of his albums, man. Whether I'm in the gym or whether I'm out by the beach, or going to a car show, what have you. Like it speaks,
Yeah, I feel like there's a song for it, whatever, however you're feeling,
That's right.
There's a particular song. I don't know if you heard it. I'm sure you've heard it before, and if you haven't, listen to it again, man. It's a good song. Gracias. Okay. Gracias is a good song. I forget what album it's in. But when you look for the name of the song, it's not gonna be Gracias.
Right.
It's like a heart. I don't know if you know. It's like the sideways
like
heart.
With J Balvin.
No. He's by himself.
Okay.
No, he's by himself. And the name of the song, when you look at like the track list, is like the less than sign, the less than sign,
old school like S type of deal.
Yeah, with the number 3 next to it, and it's supposed to be like a heart.
Okay.
And the song it's Gracias. It's a great song, man.
Very nice.
It's a really good song.
Yeah.
But listen, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate you coming through.
Yeah.
I appreciate the conversation. I appreciate the patience. I know you came over here a couple of months ago, whatever. I think it was good. We chopped it up. We hung out for a little while, and I think it was really good. But I really appreciate you coming through, sharing, what's going on.
It's been an honor.
Please let me know anything I could do for the organization.
Yep.
Anything I could do to help. Whatever
Definitely.
it is, you let me know, and I'm definitely,
And before we finish,
all that.
it's customary for us, especially in the Latino and Hispanic culture, we're very big on gift giving.
Yes.
So we wanted to leave something with you as a little thank you for everything they did, and that's our logo right there in the Bridgeport Police car on the front. But there's some goodies in there you can take, with you. You gotta.
Do I open it now, or
if
do
you want to? You show the audience. Yeah, These are some of the items that we're
gonna set the bar high. So whoever comes next.
Yeah, some of the merchandise that we sell in the organization to help out with funds. But this is
look at what's this?
Yeah,
man?
you got an award.
Man.
Yeah.
Oh, you
something to put in the case. So
man, that's beautiful.
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's beautiful.
And then when you're out in public, you wear the sweater, or if you're at the gym, you know that's it, man.
Oh man, this is nice. I'll post it so you guys can see it on social.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, sweater. Let's go.
So this new design, this is our brand new logo. The last one was created in 2010, which is what a lot of people are familiar with.
Yeah.
But I actually hand drew this logo, and I incorporated everything from our old logo from 1985 and 2010 in this.
You hand drew this?
I hand drew that, yes. So the castle, there's a meaning behind our logo. The castle is for strength. The lion, the sheep are for our faith.
Yeah. And
then the lion is for courage.
Okay.
Yep.
That's all. Oh man, thank you so much, man.
Without a doubt, Papa.
I'm definitely. It's a little hot right now, but in a few weeks, before you know it, it'll be winter again.
The winter weather,
and it'll be here. Oh man, this is beautiful. Thank you so much. I really
Without
do
a
appreciate
doubt.
these gifts. Thank you, and thank your organization too. Thank you, the whole board.
Definitely.
I'm sure we can't do it without the team, right?
That's right.
Without the team,
it makes the dream work.
Yeah, there you go. Teamwork versus teamwork.
Uh-huh.
Again, man, thank you so much for coming through.
Always, pa.
La puertas están abiertas here. The doors are open whenever you want to come back.
Igualmente.
And talk a little bit more about what's going on. I know that there's probably some other things that you guys are working on that we're not ready to talk about yet.
Definitely.
But when we're there, man, come through, and I would love to chop it up with you, man.
Definitely, always.
Again, thank you so much. Guys, thank you for watching. Please don't forget to subscribe to this channel if you haven't done so already. And please go down to the description and follow the Hispanic Society on Instagram and on Facebook. Keep up with what they're doing. If you have time, if you're looking for something to do, if you're looking to volunteer, please consider this organization. If you're looking for something to do on September 3rd,
September the 5th.
September 5th.
Yep.
Please come out to the car show. It'll be a good time. I might be
800 Union Ave.
Yeah, I might be there.
Yep.
I think I'm gonna be there. So come by and let's have a good time.
Yep.
And please know that if you have a goal in your life, it can happen. You can make it happen because we're showing you here that it can happen. This man, did he had a goal. He reached that goal, and there's plenty more goals that he's gonna reach, and he's doing it all because because not only does he want to, but he has the what's the word? Coño, se me peleó la palabra. There was a word that I wanted to use.
The drive?
But drive is a good word. He has the drive to do it. And we all do. We should definitely do it. Again, guys, thank you so much for watching. And please don't forget, be transcendent.